The last kind of triad that we're going to learn about is called a sustained triad, or often it's just called a sus. And I have to make a distinction that there's actually two different kinds of sus chords. There's a sus2 and a sus4. The sus2 can also be called an add9 or an add2 chord. So for example, if we wanted to play a C chord, and then we wanted to, or a C triad, and we wanted to play a C and add the 2, we would be adding a D on top of it. So something like this. That's nice. You're adding something, you're not replacing anything. But if you play a C sus2, you're replacing the regular part of the chord, the major third, with a second. And you might hear that in country music a lot. That kind of shape, kind of sound is very reminiscent of a sus chord. That kind of thing. For the purpose of learning triads, we're going to learn the sus4. In other words, what we're doing is we're affecting the way the regular chord is played. We're changing the major third interval, C to E, with a major fourth interval. So we're going to go you often see that when people play a D chord, they play the D, and they might put their pinky down. That's a sus4. That's the one we're going to focus on for learning triads. And I want to introduce one more idea, which is the idea of musical progression. Musical progression is the order in which you play things, and how that plays out across time. It's a really important concept because the sus4 chord is ugly. By itself, it's kind of an ugly chord. It doesn't really feel like it should stay there too long. Sus chords are typically used in passing. So what that means is that as the music progresses, you're going to hit this kind of wave of ugliness, and then everything resolves. So you might hear something like this. That resolves. We might be going between a or if I play with a pick, it might be easier. You might be playing something like, and then we're gonna resolve it. So this idea of like crests and wanes of dissonance to kind of flow us through a song. Let's look at a few sus chords on their own, and I remind you that they're going to sound terrible, but they work. This is a E sus4, horrible. This is a B sus4, which is here, terrible. A G sus4, which is here, and an A sus4, which is here. All of these sound bad by themselves, but when we put them together musically, they're going to sound great. I promise. Let's try a quick example, and this is going to use everything we've learned in this series of lessons. So let's go through the chords real quick. Starts on C, A minor, F, G, C. So we're going down and then we come back. Okay, fine. I just like to know in my brain the musical progression. It should feel down and it should feel up, so kind of like a wave. And if we were to repeat this, it would probably do this. Cool. Let's work on those chords, and then we'll come back to those picking bits. So the chords are C sus4, which is here, and then a regular C. I like the way that sounds already. An A minor sus4, which is here. Okay. And an F here. And an F7. Love that. And then we have a G sus4, which is here. And a G. And then a C7. Okay, so we're playing this kind of thing. C sus4, C, A minor 7, sus4, A minor, F, F7, G. That was a sus4, now we're back at G, and then a C7. And then yeah. So now let's work on those noodly bits. It looks like I'm just playing like a rhythm underneath, so okay, so I'm playing this kind of like, if I repeat that first phrase with the C twice. Where is it? Here? Here. So let's try to play that slow. One more time. That's kind of fun. I always try to find fun, different things that I wouldn't normally play on the guitar because it makes it more interesting and it gets my fingers to do different things that it doesn't want to do. Once you get to an intermediate level at the guitar, your fingers are going to want to constantly do the same things. So for example, if I play C, I don't think about it, but I often do that. And then I even do. So I might be doing like, without even thinking. There are things that like my fingers just programmed to do because they sound nice. Having an exercise that really brings me out of that box and forces me to do new things is great. It builds new mental maps. It builds new, it breaks that kind of muscle memory and forces my fingers to think about what they're doing. And it forces me to engage with the music, the theory, the intervals, the notes, more than just the tabs.